Lewis, I will start with you as we say good morning to you. What is your level of anticipation, or more importantly, your expectation for that night? It's a Sunday night game, Brady coming back to face Bill in his old building.
Yeah, I think, I've heard Teddy talk about the fact that I think there's going to be a lot of emotion overall in this football game. I think for Tom in particular, I think for players it's always more emotional because players always have a point to prove no matter how much you have accomplished in the NFL. You always feel as though you have more to prove because that's what makes you who you are. I mean, Bill has always been one of the guys who can manage emotions and kind of keep his eyes on the main thing better than anyone maybe in the history of the game. But I think without a doubt that this is still a football game that is going to be the type that is really decided by old-fashioned principles, which is something that Bill preaches all the time. It's going to be about blocking and tackling, being able to run the football, not committing mistakes, and who captures the line of scrimmage. I think that's really going to be what this game comes down to. I think that's how New England has tried to revamp their football team. Can we win in the trenches? Can we capture the line of scrimmage running the football? And we will never again allow a team like the Miami Dolphins to run for 250, 300 yards on the ground against us ever again. And I think that's how they're going to want to win. I think that's how the Buccaneers want to win. That's how they won the Super Bowl, which I personally wouldn't want it any other way. I can't wait to see the physicality that's going to be on display that night.
I'll point out that Lewis played for Bill Belichick in Cleveland. Teddy, obviously, you legendarily played for Bill in New England. And I get that, generally speaking, he's not a person who tends to be emotional. But this is a night unlike any other. What do you expect this to be like for Bill as Brady, of all people, comes back?
I just expect there will possibly be a hug between Tom and Bill after it's all over. Lou's right. I mean, this man is all business, and he'll start the Wednesday of that week with, listen, guys, I don't care who plays for the other team. This is what we have to do to win. I don't care how many years, he's coming back, but I don't care how many years it was and all of that. Focus on getting pressure, say, up the middle of the pocket or, however they got to beat that outstanding defense. That's what he'll focus on. And believe me, does it sound impossible to do based on what Tom Brady has done for the organization? Yes. But that's just how the blinders are on this man. So Belichick and emotion is usually something that doesn't sort of go hand in hand. And Lou's right, that emotion is all over there with number 12, and he'll want to. The question is, how many will Tom want to score against this defense? Will it be 30, 40, or 50? And that's what he'll be thinking about.
I tell you, if Bill isn't emotional for that game, then he's just not human, because I'm emotional just thinking about it. I'm not even directly involved. All right, Dianna. So a lot of people are looking at the Bucs and wondering, oh, the schedule is favorable. It came out well for them yesterday. Could they possibly go 17-0? We all know that is very unlikely to happen. So, Dianna, give me their first loss. Look through the schedule. Tell me where Tampa Tom is going to lose his first game this year.
I think the New Orleans Saints are going to be the one to wake them up and remind them that this is not going to be an easy division. I remember last season when the Saints lost to them, and it was not good. They did not expect that to happen. They thought that they had their number. I think the Saints will be very prepared to beat the Super Bowl champs. They were not going to let that happen to them once again. And guys, we've been talking about the Saints now. I think this is 4 years in a row getting bounced from the playoffs. They are tired of losing. It's time for Sean Payton to come through here and start winning and go far in this playoffs. I know there's no Drew Brees, but we talk all about different pressures. I think the pressure is on Payton to come up and have success post Drew Brees, a little similar to how we saw with Bill Belichick post Tom Brady.
All right, so that would have Tampa at 7-0 before their first loss. Lewis, you looked at the schedule. Show me a game. If you had to pinpoint the first game Tampa loses, where are you looking?
You know what's interesting is we keep talking about this Patriots game. How about that game? How about that game being a game where, quite honestly, Bill Belichick announces his arrival and says, hey, look, all this money that I spent in the offseason, it wasn't just haphazard. I had a method to my madness. I took advantage of a market inefficiency in terms of there being a lot of players who were available, a lot of teams in a down salary cap year who didn't have the kind of money to spend that I spent. And quite honestly, my contracts relative to what I think the projected performance of these guys is going to be, I'm very comfortable with. And then they come out and they just run the football, play good defense, Don't turn the football over. Play great in the kicking game. All the kind of things that, look, Teddy knows. Everyone knows who watches the New England Patriots that is how they have won for the better part of 2 decades. They play the smart game, the long game, and they play the long game in that game, and they wind up going ahead and shocking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and sending notice to the AFC East in particular that, hey, Buffalo, I know you swept us last year. You never did that before. You're not doing that to me again. And this football team is here to stay. I think that would be a hell of a story, wouldn't it, in the first month of the season?
It most certainly would. And look, Teddy, Belichick, Brady, and Bruschi all know what it's like to come this close to an undefeated season and fall just short. So I've waited an hour and 7 minutes to ask you this question. Your buddy Brady went on a radio show, I think it was, and said he would trade 2 Super Bowl rings for an unbeaten season. I asked Gronk on my radio show if he would do it. He said no. How about you, Teddy Bruschi? Would you trade 2 of your Super Bowl rings for the unbeaten season?
Well, I still get to keep one, right?
Well, you've got 3.
You know what? That mark, that 19-0 mark, I think about often. And usually the question, Greeny, is would I give up all 3 for the 19-0 mark and the 19-0 championship? The answer is no. I would not give up all 3. Now, you tell me I can keep one. Maybe I can keep that 2001 championship and maybe trade one of them, okay, for the 19-0. Maybe 2. I might have to think about that seriously and say yes, because you just felt it that entire season about what you were doing sort of historically. And what we were all in the captain's meeting room saying, don't take us out. We still want to win. We know what we're going for. It's when Bill doesn't want to talk about the next game, we're like, we want to win them all. And so that's the type of determination we had that year, and the fail was huge. But I'd have to say, if I could keep one and then have the other one be in the 19-0, that would be a yes.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.